Is Airbnb dead here in Colorado? No, I'm not talking about the company specifically, but I'm talking about the short-term rental investment market. How does that look here in Colorado, and how does it look in other places across the country? Find out right now. So come with me as we explore the twists and turns of the short-term rental market from the inception of VRBO and Airbnb, and we're gonna get into it right now. I'm Reed Puser with the Roots Home Sales team, and my business partner Robin and I get calls and emails from people just like you all the time who are looking to relocate here to Colorado. So we love helping you, and we would love to chat with you. So feel free to reach out to us anytime, and we want to help you make your move to Colorado a smooth one. And if this is your first time to the channel, make sure that you subscribe and then tap the bell so that you'll be first to notified when we bring out new content about Colorado. So when people refer to the short-term rental market, oftentimes they just call it Airbnb. But there are other competitors in the marketplace, and in fact, VRBO was the first to the marketplace. They launched in 1995. Airbnb launched in 2003. But Airbnb didn't really start to grow drastically until about 2011. In 2011, they launched internationally with their first marketplace in Germany. At that point, they reached 1 million nights booked. Fast forward just 1 year, and in 2012, they had 5 million nights booked, and then they doubled that by June of 2012 to 10 million nights booked. They've really revolutionized the travel business as far as accommodations, providing people another option that's a little bit more personalized to their needs. Additionally, it's offered a way for a lot of homeowners to make additional income by house hacking or by owning second homes that they lease out. So now that we have a little background about Airbnb, how did Airbnbs do in Colorado over the last few years? We're going to get into that right now. In large part due to the Fed's monetary policy decisions, which resulted in rates staying underneath 4% for a period of basically from 2019 all the way until March of 2022. That's unheard of. What was the result of that? The prices of real estate skyrocketed. And many people were rushing to join in the fun by purchasing an owner-occupant home or investment for short-term rentals. We also joined in this race to get into a short-term rental investment, and we started booking our rental in Old Town Arvada in October of 2021. During the year 2022, our first full year in operation, we had a total of 213 days booked. Last year, in 2023, our bookings dropped to 160 nights booked. That was a reduction by 25% of our previous bookings. You might be asking why, and maybe you've seen some media and some news releases about people's bookings being lower. Well, I'm going to tell you why right now. So really there's 3 reasons why. The first reason why is that some marketplaces got oversaturated with too many units because too many people could afford to purchase them and thought that it was a good investment plan. Number 2 is because of local regulation. There are a lot of municipalities, counties, and now even states considering regulation of short-term rentals on a statewide level. More about that later. And number 3, of course, is the contraction of discretionary spending, especially on things like travel. I had mentioned that regulations of short-term rentals is a big reason why we're seeing the marketplace contract. I'm going to give you a couple examples of some well-known places around Colorado where people do buy short-term rental investments and what they've done. The first well-known local marketplace I'm going to talk to you about that recently went over a redevelopment plan, and they therefore changed where short-term rentals can be, rented and where they cannot be rented is Summit County. And Summit County is a very well-known area of Colorado. It's the closest place to Denver to get skiing and be able to get up to a real mountain resort with lodging on site, all that kind of stuff. It hosts 5 different ski resorts here in Colorado, as well as additional recreation opportunities. So under this recent redevelopment plan, Summit County has designated certain areas of the unincorporated part of the county to not allow for short-term rentals at all. for some of those to have a cap on the amount of nights that they can lease for short-term guests on a yearly basis. And then there's also cities and municipalities that have their own rules and regulations as well. I'm helping another client and friend of mine purchase a place up there right now, and we're learning all about this and having to essentially create a matrix so that we can figure out where he can rent and where he cannot. On the other hand, the city of Arvada, where we operate our short-term rental, actually, when they did their redevelopment plan, they allowed up to 3 short-term rentals to be owned by one entity or one person. And we talked about some saturation in the market previously. That is one of the reasons that the Arvada market particularly is pretty saturated with short-term rentals. In the city of Denver, you actually have to be a primary occupant of your house to get a license to do a short-term rental. So some people, if they have 2 units in their property, they live in the main house as their primary and they rent out the ADU on Airbnb, on other short-term rental websites. I've got some friends and clients who do this as well. There's also some legislation that's being proposed here in Colorado that will affect or could affect short-term rental investors. One of those has already been proposed, and that is a bill that would essentially make the effective tax rate for those who run a short-term rental business the same as commercial rate, which would effectively quadruple the taxation that we're currently paying. Also, many people in the short-term rental industry use automated pricing models like Price Labs so that they can, understand how to price their home based on the algorithm and other listings that are available. There's legislation to eliminate these automated pricing models and the use of them. That's what's happening in Colorado. Across the nation, there's tons of communities that are reeling from this newfound focus on regulation of short-term rentals. For example, in New York City, there had always been what would look to be kind of a black market Airbnb, marketplace. They were listing these on Airbnb and they weren't allowed to do so because they didn't meet the qualifications of the city. However, the city wasn't really enforcing these rules. Well, that's changed. The city is now enforcing these rules. They just enacted a law called Local Law 18, and this is really ramping up the enforcement on these illegal Airbnbs. The result of Local Law 18? Well, 85% reduction in the number of listings on Airbnb's website. However, they also say that there's a lot of people that are kind of going underground with the business once again and not posting them on Airbnb, but having those listings posted elsewhere where they cannot be tracked. And out west in Las Vegas, they're really starting to crack down on illegal Airbnbs. In fact, Fox 5 News out of Las Vegas recently reported that one homeowner received a $180,000 fine for operating an illegal Airbnb. So, looking forward, what does this mean for the short-term rental investment market? And then how does that correlate to our traditional resale market? For example, if there's a lot of struggling Airbnb operators, they might at some point go and list their house on the market for sale. This increased inventory could push pricing down a little bit, or it could just bring out some more buyers who've been waiting for good inventory to choose from. Regardless, if you're interested in operating a short-term rental, or you're already operating a short-term rental, there are some ways that you can pivot in this market potentially and, secure your investment and, essentially try to insulate yourself from this current downward spiral of the short-term rental market. Some of those options: midterm rentals focused on traveling professionals. Another option would be to do a long-term rental. There are also a lot of different marketing techniques that are working better for short-term rental operators. For example, having a floor plan uploaded on your photos of your home. That's a key component so people can see the space. Needless to say, if you're interested in more information about short-term rentals, midterm rentals, and you'd like to set up an appointment and a consult with me or Robin, please give us a call or shoot us an email. We'd love to talk with you. I hope that you got some value from this video and it got your wheels turning. As always, if this is your first time to the channel, make sure you click subscribe and then definitely tap that bell for notifications so that you'll be the first to know when we bring out new videos. Until next time.